Hey guys, here and thanks for dropping by and watching my video. So today we're going to be talking about Oxygen Not Included, the Outbreak Upgrade version. So in this video we're going to be talking about the changes that they did and I guess give out some of my opinions on how I feel about it. So hopefully you find the video interesting. And with that, let's get on to it. So the first thing we're going to be discussing today would be about farming. So farming has been overhauled again, and I guess right now in the current state that they did for farming, they made it a little too easy again. So as you can see here, I have a lot of planter boxes with full of millwoods, and they're not that hard to plant actually. So the only thing that you need to worry about here is just to make sure to meet the minimum requirements of these plants to grow. So for each plant, they have their own specific requirements. But as for the millwoods case, you need air pressure, atmosphere, body temperature. So it's pretty much the same as before, but right now you will no longer see the excellent yields, standard yields, or good yields. So in so it doesn't really matter which temperature you hit here, as long as you hit the minimum and maximum requirement, you're good to go. So these plants will grow normally. Now, in terms of yields, they will only yield one specific result, which is, for example, for middle ice, we'll only get 800 per harvest. Now, in terms of seed production, they made it into a 33% chance to produce a seed per harvest. So that means that you have quite a lot of chances to get millwood seeds for every single harvest that you do. And as you can see here in my millwood section, I have 104 seeds. Won't really have any problems in terms of gathering food for your colony. So food is no longer the resource that you need to worry about during the agricultural upgrade. So in this upgrade, I think we need to worry about the germs and disease, which I'll talk about later on. Now, apart from that, in terms of cooking, there's not much change. So more or less, they're still the same, apart from they added one new recipe, which is coming from the dust cap plant. Nothing really spectacular in terms of cooking food. So I don't really feel the need to actually create the cooking station because the benefits are just kind of okay. It doesn't really change anything much, so I would suggest just they're easy to grow and they give you enough food for the colony anyways. Now in terms of dust caps, they did add a bit of a difference in terms of illumination requirements. So dust caps requires darkness, so it will not grow when there is light and it will grow where there is no light, and they can only grow in atmospheres that have carbon dioxide. So if you have oxygen in your area, then this plant will not grow. The bristle blossoms will actually need illumination, so you need to put lights in. But unfortunately, I lost my bristles here because of the temperature. Temperatures went up to 26. As you will notice that the more you play the game, the temperature in your immediate vicinity starts to rise. So you have to take note of that. So bristles are a bit more difficult to manage, but for millwoods, it's pretty easy to reach, so you shouldn't have any problems for that. So next we're going to be talking about germs and disease. If you have played the game, you should have seen some of the changes that they did. So right now for germs, you will see that there are two types of germs. So one here you'll see refers to food poisoning. So the yellow one is food poisoning and the green one is slime lung. As you can see, slime lung is already all over my base, which is not good because my duplicates are all getting sick. And I'm pretty sure that some of my duplicates are going to die soon because I don't have enough medical cots to actually help them heal up. So that's one aspect in the game where you need to be conscious when you're building your base that medical cots require food source and lavatory nearby for this thing to actually work properly. So as you can see, the lighted area is the range of the medical bed, so you have to make sure that food and lavatories are nearby so you can make this work. Unfortunately, I wasn't quite prepared, so I only have two, and I can't accommodate more, otherwise I need to create more lavatories and more ration boxes to get this thing working. So I'm pretty sure that some of my duplicates are going to die pretty much in a few cycles because I'm not able to tend to them. And you have to take note that healing a duplicate takes quite a lot of cycles, and that's a bit problematic because they're basically incapacitated in a sense because they're just gonna stay in the bed, they're gonna eat, do their thing, and that's it. They're gonna stay there for maybe 4 or 5 cycles, I think. Then that's when they'll get cured. It's a bit of a management thing again. So right now you're not worried about. So right now you're not worried about food, but now you're worried about the germs spreading throughout your base. So you have to constantly disinfect your base. So this is what replaced farming issues before. Before you get into the slime biome, you have to make sure that you have enough setup to prevent the germs from spreading out. If you are aware that you need wash basins to clear out some of the germs that they're getting from either the lavatories or the outhouses or the slime biome area. So for my case, I made three, which I think is compensating because sometimes your duplicates will go in all at the same time and they'll go out at the same time. You make sure that you have enough wash basins for them to actually wash your hands. Otherwise, they'll just walk straight to it, bring the slime lung into your base, then it's going to spread out all over your base, which happened to my case, and I have no idea how am I going to remove the spread of slime lung in my base. Apart from the automatic disinfection, there's not much else you can do really. And right now it's destroying my immune systems or my colony. I'm not exactly sure I'm going to manage this. But if you're still starting out your base, you got to take note and you got to plan this place out. I think you may need probably to create more than three, maybe even five, just to make sure none of those duplicates walk out without washing their hands. Alright, so apart from that, that's the biggest management thing that you need to take care of in this current upgrade. So hopefully we get to see more diversity in the germ mechanics. Right now it's a bit difficult to manage, but it's not impossible. But overall, I think it's a good addition to the game. So another thing to take note, they added in what we would, I guess, describe as ruins. If you start exploring your vicinity or your map, you're gonna see some of the ruins that are scattered around the map. So these shows that there were some colonies that lived long time ago, and they're probably gone right now. So you get to see the ruins, and if you do check the details of these fixtures, all of them are made from neutronium. The neutronium right now in the game, you can't even harvest them. So maybe eventually, once the game adds more updates, maybe they're gonna add in a tech where we can actually use neutronium to build a base. So you can see some buildings, like for example the vending machine. The vending machine you will be able to rummage, which will give you a nutrient bar. So nutrient bar will give you 1,000 kilocalories, and that's about it. So you can inspect the building, it'll give you some information. So for this case, it talks about health and safety for your employees. So it's just a bit of a background for you to see what exactly was going on back then, but of course it's not enough information to hypothesize what exactly happened before that led to their demise. Another new thing that I saw here is security doors. So security doors requires you to submit a sample, which I have no idea what it is. Once you are able to submit the sample, it'll give you, I guess, access to the door so you can open it. But I guess it doesn't really make any sense for us to try and search for the sample because you can just go around it. You know, it's not an inaccessible room that you need to go in and hope that maybe you can get something from it in the future. But maybe they can probably try and build more mechanics into these ruins. I was still kind of hoping that we're gonna get more tech from these ruins, maybe a lost technology that once existed before that we can actually use, or maybe just have structures here that can give you some convenience compared to what you have currently. So I'm hoping that they do more from this, but currently they're just there for more or less display and nothing more. The other changes that they did right now is the liquid bottler building. So you have liquid bottlers and bottle emptiers. So these two structures are responsible for either gather water or distribute water to a different pool. Now, the use for liquid bottlers is to gather water. Now, before your duplicates used to just gather water using their own hose and they just deliver the water. Now you need to create this one so they will use this to gather water and put it to the buildings that requires water. So they don't do the manual thing that they did before anymore. So they will need this structure in order for them to get the water. Now for the bottle emptier, this is more or less used for structures like water basins. So the more your duplicates use the water basins, they will create polluted water and germs. So you need to put the bottles of dirty water from your basins to this bottle emptier and have it thrown out into this polluted water pool. You can specify which liquids you want to put out. So for my case, I polluted water, so I can discharge all of these polluted waters in my base. Now for the other changes, for research, they did change a bit, but overall it's still more or less the same tech, so nothing much to talk about for research. Now for other paintings, they did add in two new paintings. So you have the Picasso painting and you have this, I think what they call this is Frida. They also made a different structure called Thermo Aquatuner, I mean. So thermal aquatuner actually just cools down water. So sometimes it works kind of like the same for thermal regulator. So instead of gas, you're cooling down gas, you're now cooling down water. So that's another option that you can do. So another structure they added in is the ore scrubber. So it clears out raw metals or minerals from germs. So it'll clean them out so you can use these clean items to make your buildings. If you use raw materials with germs in it, it will spread the germs in your base. So most of the stuff are still the same. I did notice that the geysers are kind of gone. So I haven't seen a natural gas geyser or a steam geyser at all when I started exploring the map. So it may be that they removed it for the time being, and hopefully they do put it back. It's a pretty nice mechanic, and I would want to see more of those again in the near future. Now, another thing to take note of is that they also added in a farming overlay. So this farming overlay actually shows you when the plants are actually going to be fully grown. So as you can see here, the green ones identify as plants that are fully grown, and the yellow ones are just indicating growing. As you can see the bar here, it's almost full, meaning that these two plants are going to be fully grown in maybe the next cycle. So with that guys, that's pretty much most of the updates that you need to be aware of in the Outbreak Upgrade version. Now, if you did enjoy the video, please do like and subscribe, and hope to see you guys in the next episodes. I will be doing a quick walkthrough for the game, and hopefully you are there with me to watch it. And with that, thanks for watching the video. See you out.